It defied everything the jungle knew. A wounded lion, alone, vulnerable, lying in the open, under the harsh sun. And a pack of hyenas surrounding him, not to finish him off but to stand guard. No growling, no mocking cackles, only stillness. Watchful, deliberate stillness. Witnesses were stunned. These weren't scavengers closing in. These were sentries holding position. Something ancient had broken its pattern. Our story begins with a mighty roar echoing across the watering hole. A lone lion, majestic but weary, stumbled into the dry river. Age had dulled his once fierce amber eyes, and his once thick mane was now a tattered crown. The late afternoon sun glinted off his wounds, each cut a testament to battles fought and lost. He'd been the king of this part of the savannah for as long as anyone could remember, but lately, his power felt as distant as the rain. In his last fight, he'd torn a ligament in his front leg. His pride, sensing weakness, had abandoned him. Now he was on his own, barely able to walk, his ribs showing through his matted fur. Blood seeped into the dust, painting his defeat in shades of red. His kingdom, built on strength and ferocity, was slipping away. With each labored breath, the hyenas closed in. Their numbers swelled, their eyes gleaming with anticipation. Usually, such a sight would send shivers of fear down the spine. To stumble upon a pride of hyenas circling a fallen beast was a scene most avoided. It meant death, the cruelest and slowest kind of death. The hyenas snarled, their laughter echoing the triumph they felt. Soon, their feast would begin. As they shuffled closer, the lion prepared for the worst. Maybe he'd earned this fate. After all, life in the savannah was a relentless cycle of hunting and being hunted. For years, he'd been the hunter. Now, it was his turn to be prey. But as they drew nearer, something shifted in the hyenas' behavior. They stopped their mocking laughter. The circle they formed wasn't tight. It was loose, almost respectful. They didn't close in, didn't pounce. They just sat there, watching him, their gazes intense. The villagers who witnessed this scene from afar couldn't believe what they saw. Could this be the end of the great king? Would the hyenas allow him to die in peace or tear him apart for their amusement? Fear hung heavy in the air, mingling with the scent of dust and blood. Then a miracle happened. The hyenas didn't attack. They stayed put, forming an odd sort of barrier around the injured lion. The first night fell, bringing with it the chilling symphony of nocturnal predators. Vultures circled overhead, their shadows falling like grim omens over the scene below. Jackals crept closer, their eyes gleaming with the promise of easy prey. But whenever any scavenger ventured to close, the hyenas reacted. They lunged, they snarled, chasing the intruders away without stealing the kill. One of the hyenas, older and wiser than the rest, seemed to take charge. Whenever the lion stirred, she would growl, a deep rumble that echoed the lion's pain. The lion, too, seemed to understand. He didn't try to run. He couldn't. But he didn't cower either. He stayed put, enduring the gnawing pain in his leg and the constant throb of his wounds. The hyenas, for their part, didn't press their advantage. They didn't close in, didn't try to finish him off. They just stayed there, watching, waiting. The second night arrived, bringing with it the soft glow of moonlight. The stars twinkled above, oblivious to the drama unfolding below. The hyenas' vigil continued. Some dozed off, only to wake up and immediately return to their post. The jackals, bolder now, crept closer, but were always driven back by the watchful hyenas. By now, the sight had become a mystery to those who witnessed it from a distance. Why weren't the hyenas tearing the lion apart? Was respect momentarily overriding their instincts? The lion, too, seemed to be waiting for something. Perhaps he sensed that his life, though wounded, was still in balance. On the third day, as the sun began its slow climb, the hyenas finally made their move. They shifted away from the lion, parting like a group of guards reporting for duty. The lion, his muscles stiff from days of inactivity, slowly started to rise. His wounds protested with every inch, but he pushed on, driven by some primal urge to keep moving. The hyenas watched him rise, their gazes unwavering. When he took a shaky step, they didn't close in. They just kept watching. Then, as if giving him a final gift, they backed off completely. The lion was free to go. He didn't roar. He didn't lash out. He didn't even acknowledge the hyena's presence. He simply walked away, slowly disappearing into the tall grasses. The hyenas, their mission accomplished, disappeared as mysteriously as they had appeared. Only the villagers remained, staring at the spot where the lion had vanished. What had they just witnessed? Had they seen respect in the eyes of... Had they seen hyenas honor an old pack? Or was this just the jungle being the jungle, where nothing was as it seemed? One of the villagers, an old man who'd tracked animals for more than 80 years, shook his head. "This is not nature," he whispered. "This is memory." And perhaps he was right. Stories passed down through generations spoke of a time when predators didn't just fight and kill, but also respected the ones who led. This lion, it turns out, had ruled fairly. He hadn't just claimed the savannah, he'd protected it. And the hyenas knew this. They, too, had a story to tell. Years ago, during a severe drought, the watering hole had dried up. The young of the spotted hyena clan, barely weaned, were dying of thirst. The lion, despite being rivals, had allowed them to drink from his river. He'd shared his water, ensuring the cubs' survival. The mother hyenas, too, had been spared when the lion could have easily killed them. There had been an unspoken understanding between them. The lion didn't interfere when the hyenas hunted, and the hyenas never challenged the lion's authority. There was a strange sort of peace in their uneasy truce. Now that peace had returned, but not in the way anyone expected. The hyenas, known for their scavenging and cunning, had chosen to protect the lion, ensuring his survival against other predators. The lion, in his turn, had not shown up to finish off the hyenas when they were young and vulnerable. They remembered that, and now the favor was being returned. As the news of the hyenas' actions spread through the jungle, more and more animals were drawn to witness this unusual event. Zebras, giraffes, even elephants, gathered at a safe distance, watching in awe as the lion walked away. The lion didn't know that his life was being rewritten that day. He didn't realize that his legend was being updated beyond the borders of his kingdom. For the hyenas, though, it was a clear decision. They owed the lion their existence. Their mother's survival was linked to his past generosity. So, protecting him was not a choice. It was a duty. To them, the lion wasn't just a fallen king. He was a symbol of an era when the watering hole hadn't run dry, when the rains had been timely and the prey abundant. He represented a past that they remembered and a future they hoped to reclaim. Their actions sparked a ripple of change in the jungle. Other predators started looking at the hyenas differently. The scavengers who once mocked the hyenas now watched them with newfound respect. But for the lion, the encounter left an even deeper scar. He realized that the jungle was not as heartless as he thought. Beneath the brutality, beneath the endless cycle of hunt and be hunted, there existed a memory bank of sorts. The jungle remembered kindness, remembered sacrifices, and remembered those who led with honor. The hyena's actions were a reminder of his past glory, of the respect he once commanded. It was a message from the jungle itself, telling him that he was not forgotten. The lion carried this memory with him for the rest of his days. It became his solace, a balm to his battered spirit. So why had the hyenas protected the lion? Because sometimes, even in the wildest places, gratitude echoes louder than hunger. Because loyalty is not just a human idea. And because the jungle, as unforgiving as it may seem, still remembers those who ruled with honor.